Yeah.
All right, I have almost 1 o'clock. I want to start with a question, and I want to get onto a lot of reading today. I hear what everybody's saying, and I know you, I mean, I'll tell you what, my approach to reading is, it's like when you're teaching a kid to read, a first grader. I've seen teachers in kindergarten and first grade put sight words on the window shades and on the wall. They have word walls. So one of the things in reading fluency, whether any language, it's recognition of the word. It's whole language, it's called. So when you see the word via hapta, you're not figuring it out. You've seen it before. When you see the word ashrei, you've heard it so much. So one thing in reading is the sight vocabulary. And by now you're actually, whether you know it or not, you've acquired a lot of sight vocabulary, and I'll prove it to you today. So that's one thing, sight vocabulary. The other thing is repetition. But like when I'm practicing a Torah reading, or a haftorah, I'm saying it so many times that by the time I get to actually do it, I'm familiar with the words, and I'm familiar with sequences of words, phrases. So that makes the reading easier. I've done it so many times. So we have sight reading, we have repetition, and the other one is hearing it, hearing somebody say it. So when you go to shul and you hear the same prayers again and again, you eventually can follow it, and then you know certain strings of words and you understand them, and you recognize them in the prayer book. So today I'm going to work a little on recognition, word recognition, and meaning at the same time, but basically whole word recognition, words that you don't have to sound out, because you can actually look at it and you know that word. Okay, your eye will just take in the whole word. You don't have to do syllables. Hi, Jackie. Okay, so I had a request to do the Shema, and a little quick background and a question. The Shema has 3 paragraphs plus the one-liner. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And then there's the first paragraph, which we call the hapta, and then the second paragraph, which starts with V'haya im shamoa. And the third one, which Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Okay, so I want to go back quickly to the beginning. What is one of the ideas of the actual line Shema? What is that saying? Why is that such an important line? What does that line declare and make us different from Christians?
Praising God. Your
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. I don't see any words of praise. It's a declaration of something.
It's listen, the Lord is our God, and the Lord is one. That we have
One is Hashem, one is Hashem, one is Hashem in the heaven and earth. Ooh, that's Passover. Okay, so we don't believe in a Trinity. We don't believe that Jesus is God's son. We don't believe in the Holy Spirit. We don't believe in the divinity of Mary. We believe that there's one God. That's it. So our religion is the basis of monotheism, right? Mono, one. Okay, and who is this line addressed to? Who should be hearing this? Who does Yisrael mean? The guy called Israel? I mean, the state of Israel? No. So who is this line who is this line addressed? This is in the Torah, the Shema, in the Torah. So who is it addressing?
God.
us.
Not, who did you say, Elaine?
God.
It's not addressing God. It says Shema Yisrael.
It's the people of Israel.
All of the Jewish people.
All of us.
B'nai Yisrael.
Listen up, Jews.
All the Jews.
Right, listen up, Jews.
Right, listen up. This is important. I am one, indivisible. That's it. Okay, so then moving on to the first paragraph, the Via Hafta. Can anybody tell me either what Via Hafta means, or what are some of the thoughts in V'ahavta, and that we're not going to concentrate on today because you probably can follow that. So what is V'ahavta telling us?
Not
Yeah.
just to okay, not just to love God, but it's about the teaching. It's the door, passing it on. You teach it to your children, you know, and what do you teach them to do? You teach them to
Okay.
To bind them, you know, to do you know, bind them on your heart and put it on.
And what does that refer to? The binding on your arm,
having a
your head, and on your hand.
Tefillin.
Well, tefillin. Right. Okay. It's talking about tefillin. Right. So that's like the introductory paragraph. And then we're going to talk about, and the other thing is the question that I was asking Alice is, so it says you should speak of these words when you're lying down, when you're waking up. So that's telling us about prayer services. When you wake up, there's a morning service. When you lie down, you have Mariv service. So it's kind of laying out when you are going to be praying. Okay, times for tefillah. When you're on your way, it doesn't matter where you are. It maybe you've been on a plane to Israel and you've seen Hasidim. If you take El Al, like I've taken El Al, they all get up at a certain time and they do Mariv, or if it's early in the morning, they'll do Shacharit. They'll pray, they'll daven on the plane, doesn't matter. If you've gone up to Route 17, up to the Borscht Belt, there's a place there in 17, the Big Apple. There's a wall, and a lot of religious Jewish men gather there when it's time for prayer, whatever it is, Mincha, Mariv, or whatever. So it's telling you when it's a certain time, you need to do these prayers. Okay, so V'ahavta, another striking thing, which I find very interesting. It says, V'ahavta, you should love, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, with all your heart, u'b'chol nafshecha, with all your soul. Now, those things are not visible. And u'b'chol me'odecha. Me'odecha means with all your might. So what does that mean? You should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. What might that mean in times like today, where we see rampant anti-Semitism? Doesn't mean you should go and kill people, but it means you should fight for your beliefs. You should stand up for yourself with your strength, or your voice, your spirit. You should protest, you should rally, you should talk to people. That's what it means. Okay, so you should put your whole, all of you into your Jewishness. Okay, now I'm going to point out something in paragraph 2. I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to prove something to you. Part of paragraph 2 is actually copied. There are a couple of lines straight out of V'ahavta. It's copied. So while you're looking at that paragraph and you're saying, oh my goodness, I'll never be able to read that, there's a lot of friendly stuff in there that you will know from V'ahavta. And I will tell you where it begins and where it ends. If you could skim down on the page with V'ahavta and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines and find the second word in. Go down 9 lines. It says lachem is the first word. V'samtem. Put a bracket there at the beginning. V'samtem. Did you find it? Everybody find it?
Yes.
Okay, so put a bracket there and then go down. From there, go down 1, 2, 3, go down 4 lines, and then you'll see the word uvisharecha, and on your gate. It's a line next to the bottom, the penultimate line, uvisharecha. That's the first word. The line second from the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So
So,
that
whole
whole
line?
chunk.
That
That
whole line?
whole chunk comes from V'ahavta. That whole thing is a restatement from V'ahavta, and you'll see. So there's a lot from the Samtem Ed Divarai Ela up to Uvisharecha, which is the end of the hapta. Okay, so now we have a lot of friendly ground there. There's a lot of stuff that you probably know and can follow, and it's very familiar, very, very familiar. You've heard this a million times. Okay. Another thing I'm going to tell you about the second paragraph is got like an if-then big clause. The beginning says, if you follow my commandments and do all good stuff, I'm going to give you rain and you'll have good crops and everything's going to be peachy. Then somewhere in the middle, it says, however, if you don't obey the mitzvot, there'll be trouble. Your fields won't have rain, everything will dry up, you won't have crops. So there's an if. If you obey the commandments, the mitzvot, great. But if you don't, it's going to be bad. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to say about that second paragraph, because these are very interesting and very important. The next thing I'm going to say is that I looked through it, and as I said, whole word recognition, there are 9 words that end in chem, like levav chem, nafshechem. And the chem at the end means your, when you're speaking to more than one person. Okay, your soul, but it means your souls to a bunch of people. So I wanted to see if those words, and I wrote them down, I made a list, of course. I wanted to see, but I didn't give you this list. I didn't give you the list. I underlined the words. And I left out 3 that are really not, that are not attached to nouns. So there's a noun that you'll recognize. So I wanted to go through those before we read. And there was another question I was going to ask. Alice, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you a question. Remember what I was going to ask you, and I said I'm going to wait. Well, maybe I'll remember it.
About the tzitzit?
Oh, yeah.
The
The
tzitzit,
tzitzit, yeah,
why you gather them and what you're saying.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So what are the, anyone can answer the question. In the 3rd paragraph, it talks about tzitzit. And I asked her how many times, and then Alice was on a few minutes early, and she said, how many times, Alice?
I think there was 3.
3. There are 3 times when it's mentioned. And what do you do when you gather your tzitzit? What do you do every time you come across that word? You
You kiss
Kiss
the-
kiss the tzitzit. Okay. So the question I didn't let her answer was, what are the tzitzit supposed to remind you of?
Oh, I know that.
Okay, Charlene.
The 4 corners of the world, and you gather the 4 corners.
Okay, but more than that, that could be an answer, but just something else that the tzitzit are supposed to remind you of. The arba kanfot haaretz.
The daily prayers that we do, the blessings that we do.
No, it has something to do, I think, with the numerical value of the knots.
Isn't
Which-
that how many
I believe-
blessings we do per day?
Well, it's the mitzvot. Yeah, when you put your talit on, the tzitzit are supposed to be a physical reminder of the mitzvot. And I believe if you count all the knots, it comes to 613, which is the mitzvot. And you've got the knots, you've got 4 corners, and they all have knots. Okay, so the tallis is a very religious object. The kippah is not. If your yarmulke falls on the ground, you don't have to kiss it. That is not you see people kiss it. That's not a religious item. Your tallis is a very religious item. Okay, your tefillin, very religious item. You bind it, and it's going to tell you in the Shema, you bind it, you physically tie it. And I taught the 7th grade boys how to do it. You tie it on your arm, you pull that tight, You bind it 7 times around.
Okay.
You take the rest of the strap. You hold it, you put it on your head, and it's right by your forehead where the box is, the bite. Then you take the rest of the strap that was bound on your arm because you did it 7 times around. And now you take the middle finger, and it doesn't have any bad connotations, and you bind it 3 times. All right. So it's a very religious item. And you don't want your tefillin, when you're putting them on, to fall on the floor. Okay, you want to hold on to that extra strap if it's extra long, because that's a religious item, the tefillin. It has the Shema in it, it's religious. But the kippah is not. That's just a sign of respect. You're in a place in a Beit Midrash and a place of God. But so it's a sign of respect. But it's not a religious item. Okay. So we're going to go through these 9 words that are important, that are repeated a lot. And we're going to see what the base word is. Okay, the first one is Elohechem. So repeat after me. Elohechem.
Elohim.
Okay, do you see any word there? What's the base word? Your what? Elohechem. Anybody see the base word?
I'm not sure what you mean.
What? It is a noun. It's like your. If I said your house, Beitchem.
Where are you?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We're on
I'm looking at the second paragraph,
Okay.
Middle of the
Okay.
second line.
and I'm looking at
Second line,
Yeah.
4th word in.
second line, 4th word,
Okay.
Elohechem. So what's the base word? What's the basic noun? Your what? It's talking about your what?
Elohim.
God.
What's another word for Adonai?
You God. It's Elohim.
Elohim.
Elohim. Okay, so Elohechem, what does it mean? Who's
Our-
God?
And we're gone.
No, that would be Elohim.
Your God.
Your
Your
God.
Your
Right.
God.
It's speaking to more than one person. Speaking to Jewish people. Elohechem. Chem at the end means your, speaking to more than one, plural. So the base word there, the noun is Elohim. Elohechem is your God. Okay.
Carol, you had underlined in the first line, the last word.
Yeah,
Etchem?
etchem. And I'm not including that because
Okay.
it simply means you.
Okay,
Okay, Anochi, that I command you.
okay. thank you.
Asher Anochi mitzavcha etchem. Okay, but that's not a noun, that's a pronoun. Okay, the next one, levavchem. So levavchem is found on the second line,
Yeah.
second to the last word. See that? Levavchem.
Yes.
Okay, can anyone figure out what the base word is? What's the noun? Le means two, chem is your,
Vav. Vav. Mm.
Vav. Vav.
it's lev, lamed vet, which means heart. Levavchem, your heart.
Name. Okay.
Lamed vav, lev, levavchem. That's how you make the you need that extra vav there. Levavchem. Lev is heart. And we see that word in the hapta. B'chol levavchem. Okay. Now we have the next word is nafshechem.
Nashachem.
What's a base word? Anybody recognize the base word? How do you say soul?
Neshef.
Nefesh.
Nefesh.
Nefesh. Nefesh Yehudi Homiya. Right? It's in Hatikva. Nefesh. So nafshechem means your souls. All of you. Speaking of your souls. Nafshechem. So we had Elohim, and then we had Lev, and we have Nefesh. Okay, the next one, go to the line 3, go to 1, 2, 3, 4 words in. Artsechem. What's the base word?
Art.
How do you say the land of
Aretz.
Israel?
Aretz.
Eretz.
Eretz.
Eretz Zion Yerushalayim, the land of Israel.
land.
Eretz, right? Okay, so Artsachem means your land. Your land, speaking to the Jewish people, your land. Artsachem. Okay, I skipped Lachem and Bachem. How about Yed? Let me see. Yedchem. Okay, where is Yed? Okay, Yedchem is, you see this kind of like a little space? Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth word in. Yedchem. Yedchem. What's the base word? What's the noun? Your what? Your. What do you use to read the Torah with? What do you call that thing? The pointer.
Yad.
Pointer.
Yad.
Yad.
So Yedchem means your hand. Or it would be your hands. You're talking to a bunch of people. Yad. Yedchem, your hands. Okay, now going, okay. So go 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the bottom. Last word, Einechem. Einechem. Anyone know the what's the word for eye? An eye for an eye. It's ayin tachet ayin, shin tachet shin. An eye for an eye, a tooth for tooth. So the plural of ayin is einayim. Things that come in pairs end in ayim, like yadayim, ears, oznayim, eyes, einayim, feet, raglayim. Okay, things that come in pairs. So einechem is your eyes. Your eyes. Okay, and it's speaking here, this should be as a sign between your eyes. They're referring to the tefillin, that box that's on your forehead, between your eyes, bein and einechem. Okay, now we have the next word is,
Mayhem.
yeah, and let's see, where is that? Good.
Which word are you talking about? The one you
The
just
next
mentioned?
one is benechem.
Okay.
All right, let's see where that is. Should I underline that?
Yes.
The fourth line.
Where is it? The fourth line down or the fourth line from the
No,
bottom?
the fourth line from the bottom, the
1, 2, 3,
fourth word.
4. Oh, benechem. Okay, benechem. So what does ben mean? Or ben? When you get an aliyah, you have to say.
Son,
Son
Right,
of.
so if you're a male, Abraham, Ben, Yosef, what a son, right? Ben is son. Okay, so banim are sons. Benechem is your sons. Benechem. Chem is always going to be your. Benechem. Okay. And then there's 2 more. The next one, Yemechem. What does yom? Like Yom Tov.
Good.
Good.
No,
Good.
day.
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 Okay.
And Yamim are days. Yom is a day. So this is Yemechem. Your days. Your days. Yemechem.
Days of your life or something like that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a cereal. The days of your life.
Soap opera.
Yeah, soap opera. Okay, and the last one is the last line, the third one. La'avotechem.
Oh,
And the base word is av.
um,
Av. What does av mean?
Mayhem.
Av harachamim.
Oh,
Av is
Well,
father.
Father, oh.
Fathers are avot. So avotechem is your fathers. Okay. So this is talking about the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the patriarchs, the 4 fathers. So we talk about the 4 fathers and the 3 mothers. No, the 4 mothers and the 3 fathers. I don't know. Anyway, Lavotechem, your forefathers, your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. La'avotechem. So those words are important, and they all end in chem. So I want those words, and a lot of them repeated in the hapta, to become viewing words, sight words, that when you see it, bam, you don't even think, you know. Okay, so these words are really important. Okay, so now let's get to actually the reading. All right, I'm going to read like a line at a time. I want you to read it after me. I'm going to read it slowly, and keep in mind when you hear the word with the chem at the end, okay? So here we go. The haya, I'm going to read like a phrase at a time. The haya im shamoa.
Haya im
The
Shema.
Hahata.
Everybody, I want you to be together. The haya im shamoa.
Moa.
Haya im Shemoa.
But let's try to keep together. Tishme'u.
Tishme'u.
Now you see there's 2 shvas. When you see the 2 shvas, you separate them. So the first one is the end of the syllable, tish, and the other one is open shma, me'u. Tish me'u, el mitzvotai,
El mitzvotai.
asher anochi,
Asher Anochi.
mitzaveh
Mitzaveh.
etchem.
Etchem.
Okay, now what I want you to do is, when we're teaching reading, we call this tracking. Tracking means I will read it again slowly and use your pencil or your finger and put your finger, follow the bouncing ball, follow the words. This is going to help you to learn how to follow the prayers. Okay, of course, I'm not going to do it up to speed, but start slowly where you recognize the words so that you don't get lost. Okay, so follow the first line. Here I go. The haya im shamoa tishme'u el mitzvotai asher anochi mitzaveh etchem. Were you able to follow?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. Is anybody able to read that line? Would anyone like to volunteer to read that line? Let me see if I have everybody. Okay, if you would like to.
I'd like
Don't
to
be shy.
try it.
Who said?
I said I'd
All
like
right,
to try
Elaine,
it.
you're
I
on.
don't know if I can.
Yep. Okay, all right.
Vehaya im Shamia.
Samoa.
Oh, Samoa. Samoa.
Shamoa.
Those are so
It's
strong.
from Shama, if you hear.
I'm not sure where I am.
The third word, V'haya im Shamoa. It's not Samoa, it's not a place, it's Shamoa from Shema. Shema is the base. See Shin, Mem, Ayin. So continue with the fourth word.
El meets.
Wait, what's the word before El?
Oh. Tishmayu.
Tishme'u, keep going.
El meets Vatai.
Okay, now we talked about that word when we had the very beginning class, mitz. And now the mem has a e vowel, the tzadi has a vowel, so there is a vav, and the dot is it's a vowel. So it's mitzvo.
Vatai.
Good.
Asher. Enohi.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's a tzadi.
Eh.
Mitzaveh, again, mem has its vowel, tzadi has a vowel, that's a vav, and that vav has a vowel eh. Mitzaveh, and the hey is silent.
Etem.
Good, tov ma'ov, okay. So does somebody want to do the line again? I'd like someone to do the line again. Volunteer? Okay. Tivia.
היה אם שמוע תשמעו אל מצוותיי אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם.
Right, and that's the nice etchem. That's one of our first chem words. One more person. One more volunteer.
I'll try it.
Okay, Ella.
V'haya em Shemoa.
That's right.
There are some other little dots here. and
Yeah,
there.
you know what? Those
confuse
are
you.
those are trope letters.
Okay.
That's the musical cantillation.
Tishmeu el matzotai.
Meets bow tie. The single dot is like a long E in
Okay,
feet.
mitzvotai.
Good.
Asher. And see, I'm confused with the dot and okay, anochi
Very good.
okay. Metsu.
Well, the tzadi needs it has the vowel.
Metza
There.
Metzaveh. I couldn't see the vowel. Metzaveh. Etchem.
Okay, now this is the way, if you would sing it, use the trope, it would go like this. V'haya im shamoa tishmeu el mitzvotai asher anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom, and so forth. That's the way it would be sung, with a Torah trope. Okay, let's look at the next line. So it starts with hayom. So I'm going to read again a couple of words and then everybody follow. Hayom. Remember we did that? Hayom. Okay, hayom.
Hayom.
Le'ahava. Et Adonai.
Et Adonai.
Elohechem.
Elohechem.
Uli avdo. Bechol. Levavchem. Let's just take the next word. It's uvechol and nafshechem. Okay, uvechol nafshechem. So there's a phrase. With all your heart, bechol levavchem, uvechol, and with all nafshechem, your soul. Okay, Alice, would you start with hayom?
Hayom la'ahava et Adonai Elohechem ul avdo b'chol levavchem uv'chol nafshechem.
Okay, and there again, you see the naf, that ends a syllable, and then shechem. So one is a silent shva, and the other one is a sounded one. The first one is silent because it's the end of the syllable. Naf, shechem, nafshechem, nafshechem. Nice, very nice reading. Okay, I need somebody to do line 2. And this is the way you're going to learn it. And practice, practice, practice. You know, it's the old joke. How do I get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Okay. So let's take somebody who hasn't had a shot at it. Okay, somebody else want to try? Susan, would you like to try it?
Yeah, I'll try it. Okay, Hayam la'ahava et Adonai el Elohim
Elohim.
Elohim u avado
Mhm.
baha. Wait, is that 3 dots underneath it or line under that word?
No, it's or vowel. The reason it looks different is because they made it look darker because it's pronounced or instead of ah.
Okay.
It's like a little T
Oh, okay.
that
Baha.
comes
Baha.
out.
Lava.
Bechol. Remember all versions of the word all. Chol, bechol.
Baha. La ba vechem. Uv hall. Na wait a second. Na shahem.
Good. See, there's a lot of ones in this reading when I went through it with the chem. Okay, so listen and repeat. Venatati, mitar,
Mitar.
artsechem, beito, yoreh, umalkosh, beasavta, and then it goes to the next word, diganecha. Okay, so it says, so now I'm going to read again what we did, the first 3 lines. Again, track it. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster. So track it. Start from the beginning. Keep your finger on the words. V'haya im shamoa tishmeu el mitzvotai asher anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom li'ahava et Adonai Elohechem u'li'avdo b'chol levavechem u'b'chol nafshechem. V'natati mitar artzechem be'ito yoreh u'malkosh yasafta diganecha. Were you able to follow that?
Barely.
Not
Barely.
at the end.
I would like to put you on 75%.
75%. Okay, that's better than 0%. Just
Carol,
think what
the
we-
last word.
Carol.
Diganecha.
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 Say the 3rd line down, the 3rd before the end.
Umalkosh.
No,
Umal
not
Kosh.
that one, the one before that.
Yoreh.
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 Okay.
Okay. All right. So then we need someone to do Robin. Vinatati, the 3rd line. Robin is there. She was there. What happened to Robin?
It's on mute, I think, and also,
Oh, can she hear us? No,
Robin,
she's
can you hear us?
Maybe she left.
She's muted.
Left for a second.
muted. Robin.
Yeah,
Unmute.
she's muted.
now
Can
she's,
you hear me?
There-
Can you
here-
hear
There we
me now?
go. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've been in and out the whole time. I've had lightning struck near my house and I
Oh,
have
my
internet problems.
Are you okay? The house okay?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. My computer's not working.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Oh, and
And a
we,
mile away it is.
Did you
Yeah.
have a chance to download the prayers?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So you have it in front of you?
I do.
All right. Then the 3rd line, we're on the 2nd paragraph of the Shema, the 3rd line, which starts with Vinatati.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Which line is that? Oh,
The third line, second word, because we did. not the first one.
Vinatati mitar artsechem beito yore umalkosh ve'asame ve'asap ve'asafta.
Vesafta diganecha. We went up to that.
Okay, diganecha.
Okay, let's go. So let's go now to the fourth line, second word. I'm gonna read it. You're gonna read it after me, everybody. V'tir shecha
Tirshika.
v'yitz harecha
Yitzareka.
v'natati
Venatati.
esev
Esev
v'sadcha
Visadcha
leave hem techa
Lichem
Techa.
Techa
v'achalta
Ahata.
v'savata,
Visivata.
which means you will eat and you will be satisfied. V'achalta v'savata, you'll eat to your satisfaction. Okay. So I need somebody to start with the Tir Shecha, who has not had a chance to read. Did everybody get a chance to read? Esther, did you get a chance to read?
I did not, but I'm aware, oh, Tirsh.
The
you're on,
Tir Shecha, fourth
okay,
line, second word, okay?
okay. Second word, okay. The Tir Sheka, the Yitz Hareka, the Natati, a Sev, the Shadka,
Sad-
the Shadka,
it's a sin. The Sadcha,
oh, okay, sorry. Bisadka,
good?
leave him tikha,
Techa.
the akal ta, the savata.
Nice, very good. Okay, so let's continue to reading. Hishamru
Ishamu.
lachem
Mm.
hen yifteh
Yifte
levavchem
Levavchem.
v'sartem
Visartem.
v'avaditem.
Avad
That means then you will work. So it comes from la'avod. Okay. So we have Hishamru. Let's see, Jackie. Hishamru. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jackie, you there? No, Jackie?
Yeah, I'm
He's
here.
there.
Yeah, can you-
Okay, Jackie, take the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line, start with the second word, Hishamru.
We can't hear you, Jackie.
I'm sorry, I don't know where let's see, let me move down. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Wasn't sure where okay, now it's the fifth row, the second letter.
Fifth line from the top, second word, Hishamru.
Hishamru, Laham, Zain, Yipeh,
Pen,
and Lavav, Him,
what's after pen?
after Pen, Pen, Yipeh,
Good,
Lavav, Him,
good. So that second letter is a samach. It has a S sound.
We can't hear you again.
I'm sorry, I don't know where my microphone is on this, but
When you're sitting up more, we hear you better.
okay. Niece, okay, I'm on the next to last word, I think.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Nitar. Tem.
Misartem,
Okay, Nisatem. Ba'avar. Tem.
Navadatem. Good. Okay, let's go on with the next line, because I want to get to that section very soon that you'll see there's a lot of repetition from the hafta. Okay, so it was Vadatem. Elohim,
Elohim,
Acherim.
Acherim,
Now don't freak out because this is a big word. V'hishtachavitem.
Ehi,
Now, if that scares you, divide it up into syllables. Vahish, ta, ha, vitem. Vahish, ta, ha, vitem. Okay, and you can make a line on the paper and you can divide it up when you see it. Vahish, ta, ha, vitem. Okay, next word is lahem. Okay, by the way, when you see those double diamonds, that means the end of a verse, okay? The end of a line. V'chara, af Adonai, bachem. We're gonna continue because I want to make sure I get to that section with the repetition. V'atzar, et hashamayim. Anybody know what hashamayim means? What's the opposite of earth? Yismichu hashamayim, hashamayim, the heavens, shamayim. Okay. V'lo yihiyeh matar v'ha'adama, that means the earth, lo titain et, we're going to continue, yivula va'avadatem mehera me'al ha'aretz hatova. That's like Pearl Bucks, good earth. Haaretz hatova, the good earth. Asher, Adonai, Notain, Lachem. It's talking about the good earth that the God will give to. Now, here's where we bracketed from V'samtem up to Uvisharecha. And you tell me if this doesn't sound like Via Hafta. So listen, I'm going to read those couple of lines. V'samtem et divarai ela al levavchem v'al nafshechem ukishartem otam laot al yedchem v'hayu litotafot bein einechem v'limadatem otam et b'nechem lidaber bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochpecha uv'kumecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. So I am going to read to you the translation of that because it should sound very, very familiar. Let me see. Let's see, I had it. All right. Okay, so here's a translation, and you tell me if it doesn't sound familiar. Place these words of mine upon your hearts and upon your souls, and bind them for a sign upon your hands, and they shall be for totafot between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your sons, to speak them when you sit in your house, when you sit on the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise. And you shall write them upon the doorposts of your house and upon your gateways. I mean, that's almost like verbatim from the hapta, right?
Uh-huh.
So if we look, right, that's right from the hapta. And the hapta will, if you look at it and compare it, has all those same words. Because the hapta, let's say. Anyway, it talks about talking about these words when you're on your way, when you travel, when you sit, and you shall bind them, sign upon your hand, and totafot between your eyes, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gateways. So it's that section there is very similar to V'ahavta. So if you've ever read or followed V'ahavta, that guide is very similar. So let's say those, because there's a lot of friendly words in there. We're going to do that together. Here we go.
Starting where?
Start from Visamtem, where we bracketed.
Let me see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up, second word, Visamtem.
Okay.
There should be a lot of familiar words here. This should be the part that you say, oh, good, I know this. Visamtem
Esatem.
et divarai
Et
Devarai.
ele
Ele.
al levavchem
Alevachem.
v'al nafshechem
Al nafshechem.
ukashartem
Ukishartem.
otam
Otam.
leot
Laot.
al yedchem v'hayu letotafot
Vehayu letotofot.
bein einechem
Bein einechem.
v'limadatem
Matem.
otam
Otam.
et b'nechem
Et benechem.
lidaber bam
Ledeber bam.
v'shivtecha
B'shivtecha.
v'veitecha
B'veitecha.
u'v'lechtecha v'derech
V'lechtecha. Aderech.
u'v'shochbecha
V'shavtecha.
u'v'kumecha
Umecha.
uchtavtam
Uchatam.
al mezuzot,
Al mezuzot.
which means what you think it means, mezuzahs, beitecha,
Beitecha.
so the mezuzahs on your house, u'visharecha.
Visharecha.
Sha'ar is a gate. U is and, the and on, sha'arecha, and on your gates. So you see that Hebrew is like a lot of blocks. It builds. It's got a lot of prefixes, and then it's got suffixes, and the guts, the middle of the word is where you find the shoresh, which is the root, which is the basic meaning. And on your gates, uvisharecha. Now, does anybody have a prayer book with them, or anybody have a copy of the hapta? Does anybody know it by heart? Does anyone have Sim Shalom?
Yeah, I have Sim Shalom.
Prayer book.
Okay, do you know? I think on page 100 is Shema.
It's 112 in my book.
All right, let me see if it's 100 and does anybody know how to read V'ahavta? Okay, in the Sim Shalom, there's Shema, and then we say silently Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, except on Yom Kippur, when it's said out loud by everybody. And then start with V'ahavta. Does anyone know how to sing or read via hapta? Any people familiar with that? No? Sylvia,
What
do you
is
know
it?
it?
Vaguely.
What
My
is-
singing you don't want to hear my singing.
You don't have to sing it. I mean, you
Yeah,
could just say it. Can you read it?
Yeah, v'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levavcha uv'kol nafshecha uv'kol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher Anochi
Mitzvah,
mitzvah hayom al levavcha
levavecha.
wait al levavecha Vishanantem
Take it slowly. Look at the vowels. Ve. What's under the shin?
Vishinantam.
Right. So if you do it slowly, you'll get it perfect.
Yeah. Vishinantam
Good.
Levanecha Bedibarta Bam Beshiv Techa
They're very nice.
Bevetecha Uvlech Techa Baderech Shach.
Oh, okay. You see that funny little kamatz? That means that's aw sound. Uvshoch
Sure.
decha.
Well,
That's
I'm
what that-
reading it. I'm reading it out of a different. I'm reading out of my Siddur, which is Siddur Hadash, and it doesn't have the funny little thing. So it is.
Aha.
So it's uv shoch shoch. So under the shin, it's a or. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Uv shoch decha
Very good.
uv dumecha
Kumecha.
kumecha. Ah, kumecha. Sorry about that. Kumecha. Ushatem, tam, be'ot al yadecha, bechayu letotafot, bein einecha, uchtaptam al mezuzot, beitecha, ub sha'at, ubisharecha.
Yay, yopi,
My
yopi.
son was gonna do his bar mitzvah, unless he got it. My rabbi said, unless you know the hafta, we're not gonna give you a date. I don't care when your birthday is.
Okay, now, it can be sung in two different ways. The kids learn it in a sing song, like Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, but that's not with the trope. So now I want everyone to follow it, and I'm gonna sing it with the trope.
I don't know where we have this.
Oh, yeah, this I asked if you had a prayer book. I did not send this to
I
you.
have a prayer book, but I can't find it. I
Um,
have Your Lev Shalom.
Oh,
Lev Shalom.
That's the same one, Alice.
I have it on page 41 in Lev Shalom, the same one that,
Page
you have.
41.
yeah. in,
Okay,
Lev Shalom.
because it'll be in the morning service, and then again, it's on the Shabbat
This is in the
morning
evening,
service.
yeah, I just
in the
opened. it.
evening, so it's everywhere in the,
Oh, yeah, okay, here it is.
okay, so I'm gonna sing it with the trope. Follow me, okay, track it. Put your finger on there and track it. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. That sound familiar at all?
That's, yes, that's
Yes.
exactly, that's what we sing in synagogue, and that's the way my son learned it.
Because that's using the trope. The trope is what little wigglies underneath and above. The things that don't look like vowels are trope sounds. They're trope notes. And so when the kids sing Adonai, that's not what you're going to hear in the service. That's for the kiddies to learn it with the melody. But this is with the trope. You know, like I said, you probably can find that on somewhere on the internet. And then of course, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And just pointing out that the ayin in Shema and the dalet in Echad spell out the word ed, which means witness. And so when you say the Shema, you are witnessing this statement that there is only one God. How about that? That's why it's bigger. The ayin in Shema and the dalet in Echad. And so that's it. But if you look at it, okay, if I have just another couple of minutes, I wanted to read to you the translation of what we did today, V'hayayim Shamo, because very interesting. First it's good and then it's bad. So listen, this is V'hayayim Shamoa, the second paragraph. And it will be, if you vigilantly obey my commandments, which I command you this day, to love Adonai your God and to serve him with your entire hearts and with your entire souls, that I will give you rain for your land in its proper time, the early autumn rain and the late spring rain, and you will harvest your grain and your wine and your oil. And I will put grass in your fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. That's the good stuff. Now here's where it turns. It turns bad. Listen to this. Beware. Hishamru, beware, lest your hearts be swayed and you turn astray and you worship alien gods and bow to them. And Adonai's fury will blaze among you, and he will close off the heavens. There will be no rain, and the earth will not yield its produce, and you will perish swiftly from the good land which Adonai gives you. Place these words, and now here is the V'samtem. Here is the part that echoes V'ahavta. Place these words of mine upon your hearts and upon your souls, and bind them for a sign, that's the tefillin, upon your hands, and they shall be for totafot between your eyes. That's part of the tefillin, between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your sons, which can be interpreted as children, to speak to them when you sit in your house, and when you travel on the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, that's the mezuzah, and upon your gateways, in order that your days be prolonged, and the days of your children upon the land, which Adonai swore to your fathers to give them for as long as the heavens are above the earth. So you have the good news, you have the bad news, and then you have the rationale of what the words say in the Shema, binding them, bind them on your hand, your arm, between your eyes, and speak of these words, the Shema, when you travel, when you get up, when you go to sleep. You've heard of the bedtime Shema that children say before going to bed. And when you get up in the morning, you're going to shul, and that's shacharit. And you have mincha, you have the afternoon. You are not exempt. You have to say these words 3 times a day, and that's life. Take it or leave it. So I love that. You got the good stuff, then you got the bad stuff, and then you have now this is the everyday stuff. So there's that big chunk in the middle of that second paragraph, which echoes the hapta. So that's the part that I think you should learn first, because that has the words from the hapta. And you should go over it slowly. If there's somebody that you know that can help you, listen to you read, or just listen to it online. And when you go to shul, track it. Keep your finger on the words so that you're actually reading them. It's not like just a blur. But what I do is when there's a prayer that I don't know and I'm in shul, I pay attention to the cantor. And even if he's going fast, I'm tracking it. I'm looking at oh yeah, I know that word. I'm gonna keep going. I don't stop. That's what you should do. Whether you're hearing it in person or whether you're hearing it online, you should be listening. You should be listening, you should be speaking, and you should be looking for words that you know, and all these chem words. So again, these words, etchem, Elohechem, levavchem, nafshechem, artzachem, lachem, bachem, yedchem, einechem, b'nechem, yemechem, and la'avotechem. They're your friends, all those chem words. Okay, so that's it for today. Have a good Shabbos. Next week we can go over the smaller paragraph, the third. Practice it. Okay. Practice. And the other we'll do the Vayomer, which is shorter next week, and we'll go back to and maybe we'll do a little bit of Lachadodi. Okay, so we'll work on Shema and Lachadodi. Okay, and if there's anybody who wants me to read the story to them, I'm willing to do it. If anyone worked on the translation, the Erev Yom HaKippurim is on the evening of Yom Kippur. Did anybody work on the translation? It's a nice little story. No? Okay.
No, I was gonna do it this week because I had been on vacation, so yeah.
Yeah. Though I won't give the farm away. We'll
Okay.
work on it.
Okay.
And then you've got a lot of words there. You have a vocabulary. So see if that helps. And there's words on the bottom. And see what you can do. And it says, for crimes between man and man, Yom Kippur does not atone. So you got to suck it up. And if somebody that you had a fight with or in the family, you have to say, I'm sorry. Whether you're stiff-necked like I am, I'm very stubborn.
Short.
But
Carol, I have a quick question. We don't have to go into it today, but I want to get your take on it. We have been practicing on Tuesday, those who come, we've been doing the Ashrei. And my question is, why is there no nun in the Ashrei?
Oh, we said that because the word nofel means falls. And I explained it once before. I looked it up and they didn't want that word about falling.
I just found it weird. I just wanted to get your, because I saw something on the internet, but I wanted to know if
was that it about falling?
Yeah, they
Something
said
about-
the nun is falling and you don't want to have something going down or falling.
Yeah, like a negative. You don't want anything.
You want
with
so
a- with a
you're going to the
negative.
Ashrei and there's no nun in there.
There's no nun. You're right. There's no nun, and that was really the that's what I found too. No
Strange.
nun.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go too, but. just
I'm
quickly,
gonna go back on the roof. I'm up on the ladder. I'm cleaning my gutters.
Please be careful.
Yeah.
Yes. Careful.
And
Okay,
everybody,
Shabbat.
please stay safe.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
good Shabbat. Have a good
Shabbat
Shabbat,
shalom.
everybody. Shabbat shalom. See you next week.
Bye.